Mr. Chinedu, good morning, sir.
Morning.
All right, yes. Yesterday we received a very bad news, and Peter Obi has talked about it. Another 46 massacre of farmers was done overnight in Plateau State. Don't forget, Plateau is a key state for our food security in Nigeria. And as we stand today, a bag of rice is 80,000. Mr. Chinedu, what's the way forward? Because I mean, at the same time, I think Nigeria is in a state of no redemption.
If you said that, that is you are not far from the truth. We understand these things very well, unless the government want to pretend about it, unless the security architecture, want to pretend about it, unless the leaders themselves want to pretend about it. By the time they realize that it has come and has been coming and has been there for a very long time, and the people who are actually behind the deep insecurity in some part of the north and the middle belt knows what is actually wrong, and unfortunately these are people who is being believed to be in the government, right from the days of Obasanjo. I can remember in 1999, when the three major ethnic region in this country, came up, and a lot of them were showing a kind of made some decisions anyway, and came up with a kind of military. We had the Masopas at that time, we have the OPC, and we have the Arewa, and that then it was led by Shetima Yerima. The other one from the east was talking about Wazirike. We have Gani Adams from the west, and they were actually saying one thing, they represent one thing, and unfortunately Obasanjo did not see these things coming. But not quite long from there, we started having the kind of transformation from a normal opinion group to having Boko Haram, and what is Boko Haram, and the process of trying to curtail the preaching of the Den Yusuf. He was mysteriously murdered, and that was the beginning of the real hidden agenda that started transforming to insecurity in the north today. So the government is part of it, is part of what is happening. They know, and it became a full agenda recently when they started making it open that that they want Sharia, they want caliphate, that they not want to be on their own, that they can no longer even trust the Nigeria as a country. So that was how the whole thing started, growing, breeding, and spreading, before it become, a pure Islamic conquest Fulani agenda, and then so this whole thing was coined as Fulanization of Nigeria, and that was how it began. So unfortunately, I think by now somebody like Gowon, Yakubu Gowon, who is believed to have been from Plateau State, who stood against a policy or a system that would have saved Nigeria. He mistook it maybe for kind of advice that came from some politicians who does not understand what Aburi Accord mean, and of course Nigeria at the end of the day went to war. I am asking Yakub Mahmood, why haven't he declared war ever since he find out that there was there's already a ground plan for conquest, and Middle Belt has been singled out, and the killing has continued, often are on systematically. All the guerrilla warfare tactics that is being applied shows that an agenda is is playing out. So you can see Yakubu Mahmood, shame on them. They killed over 3 million children, different kids, and they think that
You will go on.
yes, they killed over 3 million Biafrans, all in them because they refuse to understand simple English. Ojukwu asked for confederation. Of course, there's going to be a lot of revelation about that come May 30, where most platforms, are going to run commentary on May 30 this month about Biafran Day. Of course, we're going to title it, Never Again for the Children of the Oppressed, So, but away from that, looking at what Gowon should have been doing by now, having that, seeing it that over less than 600,000 people from the Middle Belt since 1999 till date has been killed. So, and the killing has continued, the conquest has continued, the agenda has continued, and it's been powered by the people who disguise themselves as senators, as presidents, as politicians, because they want to fulfill the agenda of Othman Dafodio. This is 219 years that the Hausas has been on the sword of Fulani military.
Yesterday, something interesting happened in the Senate. Senator Ume and Senator Shomole challenged the Senate President that a law should be passed to criminalize open grazing. And then Ahmed Lawan stood up and said no, that the federal government ought to provide facilities for the herders. And then Ume responded again and said these herders are doing business and therefore they must grow that capacity to have their own land for grazing. Look at how the agenda is playing out in our national state.
When we say they want to come down, a lot of people want to criticize, especially when we know what Igbos went through during the war. We know the perception and the position of the Yorubas. Even when they came up with the concept of starvation is part of the war. On that process, we are still studying that situation. So it is something that has been seen. It's one of the things that made Tukuma Nzogu to take certain decisions. During the first coup that was labeled an Igbo coup. We know that it was not an Igbo coup, but the media created it to be an Igbo coup. When Babangida did his own, nobody said it was an Hausa coup. When Abacha did his own, Buhari did his own, nobody said it was an Hausa coup. But when Igbo man attempted it, see, they are going to, bear the brunt of over millions of Kwashiorkor children that died as a result of simple English, not understanding simple English. Today, are they not asking for the same thing? Confederation. So, you see, why we are saying that Nigeria should separate the Fulanis, the military, who disguise themselves as politicians, who operate themselves as senators, are purely running a terrorist conquest agenda in the Senate. And that is why the Northerners are using the supposed propaganda. I don't know how to put it, that they are the majority. Well, we know they are not the majority. They skewed a lot of things and created unnecessary states. Even where people are not living in the north is a state. Because they want to use it in the Senate. And that is what any bill that has been thrown to the Senate, to checkmate certain things, they will shut it down. Because they are seeing the effect of what they are doing. So that is exactly what is happening. Go to other same war exposed nations that we can model some things after. Go to Greece, go to Malta, go to Holland, go to civilized nations. You see how they are able to, ranch their cows. What are we talking about? Taking cow from, they are even causing those people brain drain. They are subjecting them to unnecessary hardship.
They are not ready for this. They intend to take over all this green area. That's the agenda. So this is why a person like Ahmed Lawan is against stopping open grazing.
You see, those things,
And Ahmed Lawan was our former Senate president. You can imagine.
those things is what, when you look at what Nnamdi Kanu was saying, you look at that, Nnamdi Kanu continued detention in DSS custody, and of course the court has they refused to do what they are supposed to do, means actually that it is a terrorist attack on Nnamdi Kanu. What they're saying is pure terrorist attack on Nnamdi Kanu. So those things you are saying that no, allow them. They are. Look at what happened between when Buhari came into power. Look at how the Ruga agenda. If like the people, the likes of Paaya Debanjo, them, Gani Adams, a lot of Ohanes Ndigbo, they came out and stood against that. At the time, they really said, "Build Ruga, give them land." What are you talking about? That was the reason why they made Buhari their life patron, and that was why the likes of Erofai and the rest, were building that structure to destroy Jonathan and be able to see how they can, because they knew that Buhari was their last hope to establish Ruga across the 36 states of the nation. But unfortunately, the ethnic lords in Nigeria, especially from the southern part and the middle belt of this country, actually stood against it. We are watching. It's not a joke.
For how long?
No, see everything. You cannot tell me for how long. Look at how long it took Israel to become a nation today. You cannot say for how long.
Have we not come of age?
We will not. We have not.
So more people will
We
still
have
die.
not. You don't know what is happening. There's an arms build up in the north now by the Hausas. They are undergoing military training behind the scene. The Hausas are also mobilizing
For what?
for a tribal war with the Fulanis in the north. And you think it's a joke? A region that was not at war, they are losing millions of people to the Fulani conquest agenda. And you think they are the indigenous people of the northern part of the country. Fulanis are invaders. And we are having their man there as the Sultan of Sokoto, as the supreme leader.
He's a Fulani man.
I don't know what I'm just trying to tell you, that it's not even, if you want to listen to who is who at the end of the day, it's not even Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but they want to do their things on the ground, they'll have their, agenda and the plan, they go to Sultan of Sokoto. That's their leader.
Are you telling me that Sultan of Sokoto is the one calling the shots?
Listen, when I am trying to tell you this, you remember certain time when certain things happen, how he come up, to defend some certain things that puts it on everybody that what is this man actually saying? How many of them have consistently come out to condemn the killings that's taking place in the north? Shame on Yakubu Muhammad Gowon. A big shame on him. On Yakubu Gowon. And you see what the Sunnis and the Shiites are doing. That the struggle to control the Middle East is not about Israeli Hamas. It's about Christianity, light against darkness. The transformation, the movement, the plan is spreading down to southwest, the western part of Africa. And if you look at the indices as it builds up, you discover that Nigeria has become the mother continent, nation of this continent. Basically for that agenda. It is not a joke. The Sahel nations that are trying to build up with the influence of Russia, if they want to form a bloc to advance what the Shiites or the Sunnis are propagating. And they can only do it through these elements. And the Southwest themselves, the Yorubas, are not safe because you can see the infiltration of the school soldiers in disguise. And they see how they operate in Lagos in every night. They are the only people that move with ease in the night. Most Okada that move in the night are our Fulanis, Hausas, Niger. They operate. They do some kind of things, and they are saying that don't stop them. They are Nigerians. Okay. The day is it that is the day it will transform to the real agenda. They have their channels. They have their means of communication. They're not interested. They don't beat house. They don't rent house. They're not interested. When the time comes, they will tell you that they have already been prepared for that. We expect on every attack for the Sultan of Sokoto to come out and consistently condemn unstoppable killing happening in the north. Seeing it from that
So quiet.
And the head of the caliphate in Nigeria is the Sultan of Sokoto. And who is Sultan of Sokoto? Is he an Hausa man?
Of course, he's a descendant of the man that fought.
So what are we saying? What are we saying? What are we saying is this? It's very clearly. It's very clear. Unfortunately, the West, the Yorubas are going to find it very difficult to believe because the Muslim North and the Muslim West. I'm talking of the Yorubas who are Muslims are the reason why the law cannot be applied on the bail of Nnamdi Kanu yesterday. The Fulani Caliphate, the instruction that is coming from the Sultan of Sokoto is the reason why Nnamdi Kanu is still there today. Any day the West Yorubas disengage themselves, that's the end. And that's what the Northern, the Hausas, the real indigenous people of the North are building arms, accumulating arms. One day, enough will be enough. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chinedu, for joining us. And that's beautiful submission. Please, if you are just joining us, kindly like and share and subscribe. Thank you very much.